So we're going to be practicing Kihon number 1. Hopefully we'll get all the fundamentals that we explained prior to this into the Kihon. Ready? So obviously, we're trying to get a correct mind. I have to look and see and feel and sense the attack. So you're developing your senna sen. As soon as I see that movement, then I can move. Okay? So what I'm doing is Kumite Jodan, so I need to move and turn. Move and turn. This actually is doing nothing apart from covering. Next one, you need to drop to move the body off center, because Kerry will be punching here. Make sure that your elbow is into your body. It's no good punching Gakuzuki here. Your elbow in. So then you have your body to push through. Gosh. So I move slightly and I drop. And I turn and I punch. So, good way to practice, slowly at first, is to move to. So the only thing that you're going to actually do is actually do the Dozuki part, the actual punch, because your Taisabaki, you are checking that you have moved just enough. So you can put all that effort of dropping your weight, and the rotation into the punch. Move. So you don't rely on your blocks, on your uki. And you use your taisabaki, you're checking your taisabaki. You're checking your taisabaki that you move with your body. And all your thoughts is punching your opponent. All too often, let's see this. Yeah, these should be just relaxed. Just relaxed. No effort at all. No effort. So Gary should not be feeling any resistance, any trying to push that arm. Should be just relaxed. If it's relaxed, I'll be looking, the way that we're thinking about moving away from this Kihon is to think the next punch. So that sort of dictates the way that we move out from the Kihon. So when you're moving out, think of a yin-yang badge. It just opens, Yeah, we have one here. So they're rotating. Equilibrium. Yeah, neutral. But if one's not efficient, then he will get hit. You must be thinking past the line. So athletes, when they're doing a race, they don't just run up to the line and stop. They go past the line. So the end is here. Okay? With Zanshin, awareness, bring all those other elements into your Kihon. Okay, so for the Yuki, the first Jodanzuki is quite explanatory, isn't it? One, get your head down. Not this. Get your head down. They punch, they hit your forehead. They moved. So, here. Moving back leg. Head down. Still looking. Cross here for the next one. Drop. Bring the back leg round. If you leave it where it is, you end up punching like this. Have to do slight nagash to get your punch round to the centre. One, two, three, four.
So there are three elements to look for during your Kihon or any partner work. The first one is Fudoshin, which means immovable mind. So it's a state of mind where you are not massively aggressive, not massively passive, but you are absolutely focused on what you're trying to achieve. So at the start of the Kumite, you're trying to prepare yourself for the action that's coming, be it the defender or the attacker. As Sensei explained earlier, they are the same. But you need this Fudoshin, this immovable mind of a singular determination. Once you're into the Kihon, you move into Mushin, which essentially is no mind. You're not thinking as an attacker, you're not thinking as a defender, you're not specifically thinking about the Kumite or the Kihon as an individual item. You're just responding to whatever happens. So if your partner loses concentration and does an incorrect attack, you should still be able to perform some kind of defensive movements. You're not automatically just looking for the Kumite or the Kihon that you're performing at the moment. And the final mental state for this is Zanshin, which means remaining mind. So despite your immovable Fudoshin mind and your no mind of Mushin, you are still capable of being aware and in the moment. And as Sensei has mentioned, that's before the start, during the Kumite itself, the Kihon itself, and the exit from the Kihon. Even back to the point where you, right, that is now the point where you can step out of this chaining zone, these three minds of Fudoshin, Mushin, and Zanshin. So, when you first start learning Kihons, they're quite involved, I think they're quite difficult, especially when you first start. So a way to get assimilated to them is just stand there within punching distance, but very, very lightly, just bring this hand, as you see the punch coming, just bring this hand up to go to your face, just like the movie earlier. Yeah? Then when the other punch comes in, you are dropping.
So relax your knees. Don't think I've got to relax. Don't think I've got to bend my knees. Just relax your knees and drop. Use gravity. So straight back, because if fist carries on, it can miss. Yeah, and then when the punch comes, just relax. Then get your zuki to come in. Next is to use that plus the rotation of your body. Rotate. Rotate. Then, once your students have started to learn that and can perform 1 and 2, next one, turn, turn. Next is to actually do the actual moving. And the core principles of covering, dropping, punching is already instilled. They're not thinking about the moving of the body using the feet. Once you've learned that, then you try what we call loading up your hip or using your internal muscles, where you're using your wrists, your hip. So here, I'm thinking, I can punch this way, or I can move this way, or I can punch this way, or I've turned my hip. So when it comes in, you relax. Hips pull back. So start off loading the hip up, let it go. Let it go. Then try and use your cross the body internals. Especially when you're dropping cover and then punch. But watch what you're doing with your internal muscles, because if you don't exercise with them or for them, then you can actually do some damage inside. So be very, very careful. Next step is to do it without your hands. So move, move. So you're not actually using your hands much. Yeah? You're not relying on your hands to block, to uki. You are just purely thinking about toisabaki and hitting the person. When you hit, try and hit above this arm. If it's underneath, there's nothing stopping it. So make sure it's on top, because if I start to punch, you've already got your hand covered. To check if you're doing your wrists and your body movement, then go to the extreme. You should feel nothing when you take your stance. Now they start to feel something. Now, use your do this and react. Drop the elbow, drop your body. to the center.
So from Uke's point of view, when training with Sensei, is we're both entering this food ocean, this immovable mind. So we're actually going with a lot of power and speed into the techniques. But from Uke's point of view, there is no feeling of impact at all. This rearward movement is just rubbing, suri. There's no hard contact. And it's the same with this action. Again, it's not like a gadambarai, it's not a hard physical movement. It's just a covering action. So the only physical impact you should feel will be the punch. Everything else, from Uke's point of view, should be soft, light, and just a rubbing action. No hard physical impact other than the final punch. So Sensei mentions more advanced students with these Kihons is using internal connections within the body to generate movements and power in the techniques. So if you wish to do any further research, there's plenty of information online. There is a muscle chain connection starting from the temples, which covers all the way down the body to the feet. And that's called a deep front line. So as martial artists, this is a very useful muscle chain to be able to use in any sort of practice techniques. You can, by just giving a slight upward pressure of the head, almost like drawing the bow on a bow and arrow, you just engage this muscle chain, which allows you to spring quickly. Sensei mentions the cross connections in the body. This is called the spiral line. The right hand one starts at the neck, goes around the left shoulder, across the body and down to the foot, and the same the opposite side. So Taino Shinshuko, the expansion and contraction of the body, you're effectively cross-connecting the shoulder to the opposite hip, and you can use that to generate energy and power. So if you wish to do some more research on the back of this video, the spiral line and the deep front line, there's lots of good information on the internet if you choose to go and have a look.
So when you're doing your Kihon Gumite, Ippon, then think of your mai, your distance, your stance, your sidewards and turning movement. When they're attacking, make sure it's attacking there, not over here. When I've moved, it's a new position, make sure you punch and move. When you're moving out, try and think about hitting the person, not just to push out. Still keep focused all the way through. Only when you're back, then finish, then relax.